The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Television, radio, internet, the world.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report post-show, the post-show for WWE Elimination Chamber, which was live tonight on pay-per-view. Want to welcome all of you from all over the world joining us here on Blog Talk Radio. Want to welcome you to join us in the chat room here on Blog Talk Radio as well, as we're going to be discussing all of the events of tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where we saw big returns and some shocking things happen. Want to remind all of you to follow and favorite the show here on Blog Talk Radio and never miss an update from the Pro Wrestling Report. We're also on Twitter. On Twitter. Our Twitter username is @PWRShow, @PWRShow. We're going to be getting to some of your tweets later on. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight, an eventful night on what could have been the sleeper pay-per-view of the last few months in WWE's Elimination Chamber. I always like to call it the road bump to WrestleMania. Dameon Nelson here with you live from Romines on South 27th Street. We apologize if it's a little bit loud, but we're here viewing with hundreds of fans from the southeastern Wisconsin area. David Herro is in protest, ladies and gentlemen. David Herro is protesting. Will not join me here on the show, even though he was here with me live, along with, as a matter of fact, we watched the show with the Honky Tonk Man, Sergeant Slaughter, Coco Beware, and George the Animal Steel, which proved for an interesting night for sure, but maybe David will have a change of heart and join us a little bit later on here on the post-show. All right, you can join us live. We're going to be taking your phone calls. The number to call is 347-996-5278. Again, that's 347-996-5278. We're going to take your calls by your area code, all right? So if you want to talk to us, we're going to acknowledge you by area code and then share with us your name and where you're calling from. We'll get to your phone calls in a minute. Let's start talking about WWE's Elimination Chamber live tonight on pay-per-view. Two big returns, unexpected returns. However, one of them, a lot of you really wanted to see as the sixth entrant replacing Dolph Ziggler in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber matchup. He didn't do that, but he was involved. Christian is back in WWE and came out to help his friend Edge, who was being attacked by ADR, Alberto Del Rio, after Edge wins and retains the World Heavyweight Championship at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber matchup, which turned out to be what I would call probably the match of the night from the SmackDown side of things. Wouldn't have thought that going into it. The Big Show announced as the replacement for Dolph Ziggler and the man who would take his place in the Elimination Chamber on pay-per-view tonight. So, Christian returns. It looks like the ENC connection is back together. Edge retains the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and it looks as if Edge is going all the way to Atlanta, going all the way to the Georgia Dome, going all the way to WrestleMania 27 to take on Alberto Del Rio in a World Heavyweight Championship matchup. Alberto Del Rio defeating Kofi Kingston in a non-title Intercontinental matchup tonight. Another big return tonight at WWE Elimination Chamber, announced as a coach on Tough Enough. Tough Enough returning to the USA Network in a couple of weeks. We know Stone Cold Steve Austin is a coach. We know that Booker T is going to be involved. It was actually Booker T who would announce the next coach on Tough Enough, and she's back. Trish Stratus also appearing tonight on WWE's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. She is back and got involved much more so later on in this pay-per-view. A championship did change hands tonight. There are new WWE Tag Team Champions. Representatives of the Core, Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater, two men I am a huge fan of, took the titles off the waist of Vladimir Kozlov and Santino Marella. Brand new WWE Tag Team Champions in a match made just this past Friday, I believe, on WWE SmackDown. The new champions, the new Tag Team Champions, representatives of the Core. Now, another return here tonight on the pay-per-view, WWE's Elimination Chamber. Vicky Guerrero comes out to plead with Teddy Long for the reinstatement of her boyfriend, Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler not reinstated. However, Teddy Long does appear and announces that returning to SmackDown in a consultant role is Kelly Kelly. Kelly Kelly also back tonight on pay-per-view at the Elimination Chamber. 3 solid hours of action. We saw the main events take shape at WrestleMania 27, and we're going to talk about who won the WWE Championship matchup and who will face the winner of that match come in 42 days at WrestleMania 27. But first, apparently he's done pouting. Apparently he realizes that he is indeed a broadcast professional. David Octavius the Tiberius, it wasn't my fault, Herro, now joins us live here on Blog Talk Radio on the Pro Wrestling Report post-show for WWE Elimination Chamber. David, Herro, an eventful night, of course, including a night where The Miz retained his WWE Championship. The Miz retained his WWE Championship and goes into WrestleMania to face one-on-one John Cena, the winner of the Raw Elimination Chamber.
Amazing. Alberto Del Rio defeats Kofi Kingston. He makes him tap out. Tap, tap, tap. Way to go, Alberto Del Rio. Extremely pleased that he goes in to main event with Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Listen. Everybody already knows that. What we're talking about right now is the WWE Championship matchup, the match that matters, the main event of WrestleMania 27. The champion, The Miz.
Tag titles change hands.
Congratulations to the core. The champion, The Miz, one-on-one with John Cena. Now, David Herro, be the booker, just yesterday.
Yes.
Debuting. You picked Alberto Del Rio to beat Kofi Kingston. You picked Rey Mysterio to win the SmackDown Chamber. You picked Jerry Lawler to defeat The Miz. You picked John Cena to win the Raw Chamber.
Whoa. Wait a minute. I didn't pick anybody. That's how I booked it. It wasn't a prediction. It was how I thought would draw the most money. Remember?
I remember now,
I didn't pick anything. Yeah, see? Hey, I'm glad your boy The Miz won. He needed that. That was a big, strong victory for him to go into a main event match with John Cena.
Nobody expected it.
Well, I expected it. I thought you had a chance to beat Jerry Lawler.
Of course you expected it. Yeah, you expected it so much that that's the way you would have booked it.
Hey, listen, there was so much commotion at Raw Minds tonight. We had George Steele, taking the stuffing out of the back seat of the cushions. Honky Tonk was chasing Frank around with the guitar. Sergeant Slaughter's putting kids in Cobra clutches. You had Coco Beware with his bird crapping all over the place tonight. I mean, it was hard to keep up with Twitter and Facebook and watching the pay-per-view. I mean, my God, what a zoo!
Come on, you're gonna all these distractions. All these distractions didn't take away from what I thought.
That were out tonight. Come on.
All these distractions didn't take away from what I thought. What I thought was an excellent pay-per-view, and I'm not even just talking about the fact that The Miz retained. Overall, going into this pay-per-view, my expectations were low. Coming out of this pay-per-view, I am an entertained fan, and had I paid $44.95 or $54.95 for this pay-per-view, I think I would have been very satisfied. David Herro, your thoughts?
You know what? It was. I mean, come on. Del Rio starts off the show, gets it going. I mean, and it's not that he just beat Kofi. He convincingly beat him, okay? So that was solid. And then you go into the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. I was hoping Christian was going to show up. Big Show comes out. Definitely changes the dynamic of it. But then the final two, Rey Mysterio, my pick against Edge who finally wins. And then, of course, the return of Christian to help Edge with Del Rio. So, you know what? That worked out well because it had X factors in it. Did we really miss Dolph Ziggler on the pay-per-view? I don't think so. The only one that missed him was Vicky.
I missed Dolph Ziggler on this pay-per-view. If you had to pick, would you have rather had Dolph Ziggler in that matchup or the Big Show?
I think the Big Show brings a different dynamic. I think having Big Show in there makes the whole makes that match different. If it's Dolph Ziggler, it's just another regular guy.
I think Dolph Ziggler has surpassed that regular guy moniker. I think he has shown with his abilities in the ring and his recent elevation over on SmackDown that he's beyond that regular guy quality. Now, question for you. You talk about the Zigglers and the Mizes of the world being quote-unquote regular guys. My question, what's the difference between a Ziggler and a Miz and an Alberto Del Rio and even an Edge. They're regular guys as well. Granted, they may be presented, specifically Del Rio, in a more glamorous style, but at the end of the day, what's the real difference between those four men?
Well, there's not that much of a difference, except one is rich and powerful, and that's in Del Rio. Miz is the frat boy. There really isn't a whole lot of difference, but it's all about perception. I mean, we don't like The Miz because he's annoying, okay?
Whoa, wait a minute. You said we? Rephrase that, pal. You don't like The Miz because you find him annoying.
No, listen. Del Rio could probably beat you in a fight. Okay? Ziggler might be able to beat you in a fight. The Miz, you would beat The Miz in a fight. That's what I'm getting at. It's all about the perception.
All right.
Del Rio has a larger-than-life persona. But you're right. At the end of the day, they all look like regular, average guys.
Uh-huh.
But it's all about how they're perceived. The Miz, Del Rio makes guys tap. Okay?
Trish Stratus, Christian, Kelly. You add that on top of The Rock from this past Monday night, Booker T, and Diesel, Kevin Nash from the Royal Rumble. David Herro, I sent out a tweet earlier tonight, and I firmly believe this. WWE is truly back on top of their game, and they did it with stars of the past, but I don't think there's a problem with that at all because it brings a familiarity to the business, to the WWE, that has been lacking. And it shows, I think anyways, WWE's commitment to its fans and its final understanding of what its fans want.
And let's not forget, they're not done, okay? There's more surprises coming. There's at least 3 or 4 more people they're bringing back.
If you could, you would, but you can't, so you won't.
No, lips are sealed, baby. Hashmark lips are sealed. You got to tune in to watch.
But what we can BWHS and verify is that, as you just said, WWE's not done. This will continue for the next 42 days going into WrestleMania, and I think the fans are going to be very happy.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, we've talked to people that haven't watched wrestling since The Rock left that says, wow, The Rock is back. I'm watching now. I've dusted off my Rock T-shirt. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
And we speculated on our shows this week whether or not The Rock would be a part of tonight's pay-per-view or even a part of any of WWE programming between now and WrestleMania. And tonight, of course, no Rock. You didn't need him, and that's a good thing. This pay-per-view went about 2 hours and 55 minutes.
He was there. What was John Cena eating tonight? Fruity Pebbles. Right?
Special delivery from The Rock
there. Absolutely. So, it was acknowledged. The Rock was acknowledged with a little promo and then with the whole Fruity Pebbles thing. Remember, Dameon, it's not what is said, but what isn't said.
Exactly. And sometimes that's a lot louder than what's said, by the way. Tonight's pay-per-view, WWE Elimination Chamber, I talked about at the beginning of the show when you were protesting and wouldn't appear because you thought I would be marking out for the WWE Champion going into WrestleMania also.
Oh, my God. You were annoying. Seriously. It was almost embarrassing being there with you tonight.
Hey,
but you know what?
When the Honky Tonk Man came over and gave me a high five and said, we did it, that's what solidified my knowledge. That's what solidified my knowledge that The Miz has made it, and The Miz is championship material, and The Miz, just like I said on November 19th, is going into WrestleMania, the WWE champion.
How does it feel to be right about something for once? It's got to feel good, doesn't it?
Feels damn good, and I've never been so right or feel so good about something.
I honestly now believe it's going to be Jerry Lawler against Michael Cole at WrestleMania. The way Michael Cole was so obnoxious afterwards, I think that's the match.
Yeah. But going into this pay-per-view, it didn't seem all that special. As a matter of fact, we were talking during the World Heavyweight Championship matchup saying, at least I said, I just don't care about this matchup. A good 5-10 minutes later, the match got damn good and damn interesting and turned out to be what I dare say was the match of the night.
Whoa, amigo, really? Jerry and Miz?
No. The SmackDown Chamber did it. I know you
gotcha.
said that Jerry and The Miz was the match of the night, but I'm talking about the SmackDown Chamber.
No, I did not say that at all. Come on now.
Oh, I'm sorry. My ears went out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely they did. No, I mean, I thought the SmackDown guys worked really hard. I thought Edge and Mysterio, they finished the match strong. I liked how Del Rio came in and laid out Edge, and then all of a sudden Christian comes out to save Edge and then put the beat down on Del Rio. It makes things very interesting. It's going to be interesting how it's going to be interesting how Edge, Christian, and Del Rio play out the next few weeks now on SmackDown.
Absolutely. Makes SmackDown very interesting, and again, the return of not only Kelly Kelly, but Trish Stratus as well.
Listen,
tonight on WWE Elimination.
Kelly Kelly was gone for a week. I think it's interesting that Trish came back. You got to wonder if now she'll be put into a WrestleMania match. Could be interesting. It's funny how Trish and The Rock both come back at the same time. I'm just saying.
You're always. What did you say earlier? Something about what you don't say more than what you do say. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The pay-per-view tonight overall, I thought was solid, David Herro, and what it did and what it should do is make WrestleMania so clear. And WrestleMania at this point is clear in two ways. The World Heavyweight Championship, as what we can tell right now, will be Alberto Del Rio versus Edge. But many of you already knew that. And on the Raw side of things, the WWE Championship, one-on-one, The Miz defends against John Cena. Clearly, and no matter what you think of him, The Miz's biggest challenge to date. Now, David Herro, the question I have, if you go back to Raw this past Monday night, was The Rock delivering a message to The Miz and John Cena as it pertains to WrestleMania, as those are the only two people he named by name in his promo?
Imagine The Rock making himself the special guest referee.
He's the guest host. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, by the way, how good was it to see Scott Armstrong refereeing again tonight in the main event?
Welcome back. Clap, clap, clap. Scott Armstrong back in the WWE referee ranks on the pay-per-view tonight. Very good to see.
And, of course, that is the Road Dogg Jesse James's big brother as well.
Son of Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We want to thank all the fans that came out to Milwaukee's Bradley Center tonight to see the legends that were here with us watching WWE's Elimination Chamber on pay-per-view. As you talked about earlier, David Herro, the Honky Tonk Man, he did have his hair slicked back. I'm not sure if his shoes were blue, but they were suede, and he did pull into our town in a pink Cadillac.
The look on Honky's face when Kaz was cheering for Lawler was priceless.
Yeah, there was there was a little bit of heat there.
Yeah, Honky was hot about it. He looked at him like, are you kidding me? I honestly thought Honky was going to smack the Kaz with the guitar tonight.
King Kong Bundy, I'm sorry, not King Kong Bundy, Coco Beware.
Really?
George Animal Steel and Sergeant Slaughter, tough guy, here with us tonight, watching from Milwaukee.
That Hacksaw Jim Duggan was the tough guy. Amigo, what were you drinking tonight?
Sergeant, I haven't had a thing to drink tonight.
Uh-huh.
David Herro, I'd like to thank you for joining us, and if you could, in closing, give the congratulatory note that you agreed to in writing to the current WWE champion and the man going into the main event at WrestleMania 27, The Miz.
Congratulations, Alberto Del Rio. I am extremely proud of you. You came through tonight, and I look forward to seeing him headline and main eventing WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship.
The lesser of the two titles. Thank you, David Herro, for stepping up and being the broadcast journalist that you're not. And, of course, now David Herro is gone. Of course, that's how it works. See, he can't even give credit where credit is due, and credit that going to The Miz, who retains the WWE Championship. I got to tell you guys, I was nervous tonight. I did think that the perfect scenario was being set up, The Miz to retain the WWE Championship, The Miz to lose the WWE Championship, Lawler winning it, and potentially seeing it go back to The Miz in short fashion. But anyways, that was not the case tonight. We're going to go to a couple of your phone calls. We've got about 20 of you waiting on hold right now. I want to thank all of you discussing this in the chat room on Blog Talk Radio and all the amazing discussion coming across on our Twitter and Facebook pages. If you haven't already, be sure to visit our website. Our website is www.pwrshow.com. Again, that's www.pwrshow.com. And also be sure to follow and favorite this very program so you never miss an episode, including tomorrow night when we are live on 540 ESPN, as we are each and every Monday night right after WWE Raw, 11 Eastern, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Callers, we're going to go to you by your area code. As we announce your area code, please spell with your name and where you're calling from. Go ahead with your question, and then give us an opportunity to answer it so that we can move on to the next caller. First caller we're going to take is calling from the 215 area code. Caller, you are live on the PWR Elimination Chamber post show.
Hello.
Hello, caller from the 215. Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Hey, it's John from Philly. It's been a long time, Dameon.
All right. What do you have tonight? What were your thoughts on WWE's Elimination Chamber?
To be honest with you, I caught it, I think, at Trish Stratus coming back. That's when I caught it. So I didn't get to see the first Elimination Chamber. I didn't get to see Alberto Del Rio, but after that, it was all right, I guess. I don't think it was, as much as you guys think it was, but it was all right. And
all right.
To tell you the truth, I was pulling for John Morrison. John Cena winning the Chamber again and going to WrestleMania again, it's redundant. They're scrambling around to create new stars, and yet they don't give the young guys a chance. Come on.
But here's the question. We hear a lot about this young guy business. Miz, Alberto Del Rio, two young guys. Vince McMahon saying just a week or so ago that WrestleMania would be focused on talents that you recognize and new talents that you may not recognize. Is it not the smartest way?
Alberto's had a long career. He's had a long career.
Alberto's had a long career, but who outside of WWE, as far as the WWE universe and the masses, realize that he had that 10-year career before coming into WWE? Not many.
Well, go ahead.
The question is, did you really think at any time that WWE would not have John Cena in a main event scenario at WrestleMania?
Maybe I was hoping not main event, but maybe sub-main event. I was actually pulling for a CM Punk, Cena, sub-card, third main event WrestleMania type thing. Not main event. Come on, how many times has he been put over by older talent at WrestleMania? Triple H, HBK, Triple H twice actually.
But as it pertains to that old talent, aside from the fact that they are quote-unquote old talent, if they can still bring it, if they can still deliver asses to the seats, does it matter how old they are?
Business-wise, no. It doesn't. But, again, it's John Cena once again. It's the Hulk Hogan wannabe. Come on, give somebody else a chance. So that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that call and your thoughts on WWE's Elimination Chamber on pay-per-view tonight. Let's go to our next caller. A caller calling from the 724 area code. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Dameon? This is Colin from Pittsburgh. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations for winning that award.
Thank you very much. I'm a hottie, the host of the year.
Yeah, man. Good for you, dude. Good for you. Congrats.
What did you think of WWE's Elimination Chamber on pay-per-view tonight?
Well, I watched it, and I thought it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. And I liked most of the matches going in, and I thought the Elimination Chamber for the SmackDown side, like you said, was pretty interesting. I actually missed the part with Edge coming in, so I'm sort of disappointed. But other than that,
so it sounds like you would give the pay-per-view an overall passing grade.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a pass, but I'm not trying to put you down, but even in the ring, when I see The Miz, sometimes he just doesn't look like a champion to me, like not a world champion. Like if I saw him back when he was holding the United States Championship, he was a good United States Championship because, like, he's not the hugest guy, and I mean, he gets over with the crowd like being a bad guy real well, but just his build and stuff just doesn't seem like a champion.
I will admit this. There is some credence to the notion that champions should be larger than life. My question for you is this. What was larger than life about Bret Hart? What was larger than life about Shawn Michaels? What was larger than life about Bob Backlund? Nothing.
True.
I'm not comparing those talents to The Miz, but you talk about a Goldberg, you talk about a Rock, you talk about an Austin, you talk about a Kane, an Undertaker. Those characters, those personas, obviously larger than the normal guy, more substantial than day-to-day guys. But always, and in the case, if you look through the lineage of the championships, if you look through the championship title belt holders, you'll see many Miz's in those ranks.
Yeah, I agree with you. The people like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and stuff that were smaller, they were smaller guys and stuff like that, but they just had something about them that made them pop. And I know The Miz does have that something. I will give that to him. He may not be like my favorite character, but he has what the crowd needs as a heel character. So I'll give him that. And what was that?
Here's my question, and I'll throw this out to the Twitterverse and those of you paying attention in the chat room right now on Blog Talk Radio. If not The Miz, if on the WWE Raw side of things right now, if The Miz were not champion, who should it be? And I almost want to say, you can't say Randy Orton, you can't say John Cena, you can't say CM Punk. But if not The Miz, who would be champion right now? And if John Cena were champion, people would be complaining about that. If Randy Orton was champion, they'd be talking about the same 5 guys from the last 5 years. If CM Punk were champion, I think that would be a bit more acceptable. But at the same time, I think WWE has built a situation on Raw where they can safely have the title around The Miz, who arguably does have some development as far as his larger-than-life persona is. I think they can do that safely right now, and I think going into WrestleMania with this Rock involvement especially, WWE realizes that they need to build new stars. They're making that effort. John Morrison, Dolph Ziggler, because he'll be back, The Miz, Alberto Del Rio. All the questions that the fans have had for the last 5 years are being answered by WWE, and it's frustrating at times, and I'm not saying this is your case, but it's frustrating at times that fans don't recognize that effort.
I see that. I'm going to let you go here in a minute. I don't want to keep, there's other callers and whatnot online, so I'm not going to stay on long. But what I was saying, like, I do agree right now with you that if you put the belt on Randy or John or something like that, that it would just seem old and people would be complaining. So right now, The Miz as a good champion, but in the eyes of a viewer, like, say that they just turn on Raw to catch it, you know what I mean, and don't know the backstory, they'll be like, oh, that champion doesn't look right, you know what I mean? I'm not saying for an all-time viewer, because it does make sense, but for, like, a viewer that just tries to catch on, like those viewers that are now turning back because of the Raw, when they see The Miz, they want to, you know, play it off as, oh, that's not exactly championship, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I certainly hear you. I certainly understand. Thank you so much for that call from Pittsburgh, and we've got about 90 seconds left in show. I want to apologize to the dozens of you who are on hold right now, but I want to welcome you as well to join us tomorrow night as we are live on 540 ESPN. We'll also be streaming all over the world right here on Blog Talk Radio. So right now, everybody stop, collaborate, and listen. Follow and favorite the Pro Wrestling Report on Blog Talk Radio so you can get those email updates and those notifications when we are live again, which is going to be 24 hours from now as we are on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com, Blog Talk Radio, and PWRshow.com. If you haven't already as well, join us on Facebook. The conversation will continue all night long, and on Twitter. Our Twitter username is @PWRshow. Tonight, a brand new tag team champions in Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel. Frank Cosentino's next big thing for 2011, Justin Gabriel, has now become a champion. The Miz retains the WWE Championship. Edge retains the World Heavyweight Championship. Christian, Trish Stratus, and Kelly return to WWE tonight on pay-per-view. An eventful WWE Elimination Chamber tomorrow night on 540 ESPN. Much more discussion on this very, very significant WWE pay-per-view. For David, Herro, and the Cause, this is Dameon Nelson saying thank you so much for joining us live for the Pro Wrestling Report Elimination Chamber post-show. So long, everyone.